Alright, gonna walk you through re-spooling. Maybe this is elementary stuff, maybe not. Gonna kind of just show you what I'm doing when I'm re-spooling. I always have with me in the boat, you just never know when you're gonna need it. P-line CXX green, 30 pound, that's a bulk spool. And I also carry 25 pound. So with these two, you're pretty much covered. I tend to, I'm using a lot of 25 and 30, mostly 30 when I'm fishing the Huddleston around docks. I'm using 25 for the triple trouts, for the 6-inch Huddleston when I'm skipping them around docks. But these are the two lines for the big baits right here. You might have a 20 pound for a 6-inch triple trout, or maybe even the 6-inch Huddleston or weedless Huddleston in some cases. But for the most part, get you a bunch of 25 and 30 bulk spools, carry it with you. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I usually have two rods identically set up. This is again the 966 Loomis with the Shimano Calcutta 400 TEs. What I do is I basically just kind of have a top shot, if you will, of fresh line all the time. When you're casting these big baits, lopping them around, not only does your line get a little dinged up just from hitting stuff, but also I find the friction from your thumb on the spool cause a little bit of burn. Sometimes you can get some funny wear marks in your line from your thumb stopping the spool. That's just a function of maybe how you cast. That's how I cast. I tend to generate a lot of velocity and slow it down, and I'll try to show you my thumb real quick. Not only is it bit from the fish, but right there where I'm using against the spool, it gets warmed down pretty good. So in any event, I'll take the two reels, I'll put them in free spool. I set them here, on the back deck facing forward against the headrest. I strip off my line and kind of there's a knot. Usually when I find one, the other one's close by. But I got about a ½ inch, 3/8 of an inch of spool still exposed. And that, that's gonna let me retie a few times, God forbid break off, but just retie and have, you're not gonna have to change line every single day. But I think that's about right. And just kind of a rule of thumb, I change my line almost probably about every 2 days of hard fishing. Sometimes that might be overkill. You can get by maybe 3, maybe 4 days or whatever, but I tend to be a believer in just having a fresh top, that top section of line. Real critical. It casts nice, it's strong, it's fresh, there's no there's no inherent dings or anything in it, and that's kind of just something I've come up with just to help my odds. I mean, you never know when that next bite's going to be the big one, and you certainly don't want to have old line or line that's got wear from your thumb or anything like that. So anyway, let me back off here, try to show you a little more about what I do to re-spool. So typically I just take the T-line, put it in a nice sized box. This happens to be a Gary Yamamoto box. Thank you, Gary. Cut off a little bit that I had tied up to the spool, but I just tie a blood knot. You could tie a double uni here, but the blood knot's quick and easy. It's not as strong, but I know I'm not going to get down to that. I mean, that knot's not going to play a factor in my fishing. If I'm down to that point, I'll change line immediately if I'm feeling that knot when I'm casting or it's going through my guides or something. I don't ever let my knot become an issue, like where I'm fishing with an exposed, knot that's connecting two different lines together. I mean, at that point, I think I'm already making a mistake, and I just don't let that get in my head. So, you know, blood not solid, it works. I guess if I had to fight a fish on it, it might hold up, but I don't even let that thought come to my head. I don't ever let that happen. So tie up your blood knot, clip it close. And when it comes to the spool, I got it backwards here. The line's gonna come off the top of that spool. That's how you want it oriented. And I don't apply any pressure with my thumb or nothing. I just kind of watch it, make sure it's not stacking up on one side. But you know, these Shimano reels are pretty much bang on. There's never a, you know, rarely an issue with your level wind or something crazy where your line's not going on easy. But just the weight of the spool and the kind of, if you set it kind of more at your feet, kind of gives you some good tension just to reel against. You definitely don't want to overfill it, because if you do, you're going to get funky. You know, you're going to think you're wrapped up or hung up somehow, or you know, the actual line will start catching like the thumb bar and stuff like that. So don't overfill it. I kind of like to go a little bit full and back it off a hair. I'll bring this up so you can see, but I put that line about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch from the top of the spool. I'm good to go. All right, and finally, this is a trick my boy Dan Frazier out in Central California taught me what to do with your old line. Kind of ball it up like this real good. Throw it on your head, put your cap back on. How's that, huh? Better than Rogaine? Friggin' Dread Natty Dread 30 pound. How's that? Love you, Danny.